Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Now, overnight, Russia launched another massive strike against Ukraine's energy infrastructure amid freezing temperatures as low as minus 25 degrees Celsius. Ukrainian military officials reported that 70 missiles and 450 strike drones were used in this attack. Russia resumed attacks on Ukraine's energy installations the day before, after a pause lasting several days. Now, at least 4 major energy facilities across Ukraine were hit in the massive attack. Kyiv was among the targets. Several high-rise residential buildings were damaged in different residential districts of the capital. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said that as a result of the strikes, most districts were left without heating. In total, 1,170 apartment buildings in Kyiv remain without heat. Ukraine's State Emergency Service reported 3 people wounded in the aftermath. According to Kharkiv Mayor Ihor Terechov, Russia is deliberately targeting the city's energy infrastructure in an attempt to leave Kharkiv without heating during extreme frost. Terechov said authorities made the decision to drain water from the heating systems of 820 buildings supplied by one of the city's largest thermal power plants. 2 people were wounded in the attack on the city of Kharkiv. Now, the Odessa region was also hit by a massive wave of drone and missile strikes targeting energy and civilian infrastructure and leaving more than 50,000 residents without power. In Vinnytsia, the attack resulted in power outages across 50 settlements. Turning to the front line now. In the Konstantinivka area, Russian forces have managed to entrench themselves in the private housing sector of the city. Ukrainian military sources report that Russian troops have consolidated positions in the southeastern part of Konstantinivka, warning that urban fighting may develop unfavorably for Ukrainian defenses, as the city is exposed to Russian FPV drone attacks from 3 directions. Ukrainian forces also report that captured vampire drones, also known as the Baba Yaga class, have become the primary heavy bombing drones used by Russian units in the Konstantinivka area, with their numbers reaching into the hundreds. According to deep state estimates, in January 2026, Russian forces captured 245 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory. The pace of the offensive nearly halved compared to November and December, while the number of Russian attacks, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, decreased by only 3% compared to the previous month. Now, we open with a clip demonstrating the poor level of training of the Russian occupation forces. The footage shows enemy soldiers mastering new skills, sliding face first through mud and flipping ATVs upside down specifically. Attempts at quick maneuvers result in absolute havoc, proof that perhaps using donkeys for transport wasn't such a bad idea after all.
Вот. Давай. Давай тебе. Это у тебя. А, нет. Давай, давай. 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 О, фу, давай. Давай, это лучше. Что такое?
That was Russian edition of Top Gear, apparently. Anyway, moving on to our next feature. Operators from the 5th Separate Kiev Assault Brigade continue to systematically eliminate Russian firepower. A number of the Russian artillery systems were detected, hit and destroyed with precision strikes in a recent operation. According to confirmed figures, a D-30 howitzer was destroyed alongside D-20 howitzers, M46 guns, and a 120mm mortar, which was hit when a camouflaged artillery position was discovered and eliminated. So that forest camouflage made of sticks, that actually brings back memories, of the buildings and structure that kids used to make. Apparently, this was the Russian version of Castle Byers. Stranger Things fans will appreciate the reference. Anyway, we are moving on to our next piece of footage. In the Shkval Border Guard Detachment's area of operations, anti-aircraft drone crews continue to effectively counter Russian air threats. During attempts to conduct aerial reconnaissance and strikes, Moscow has suffered systematic losses to its unmanned force, with Zala, Molniya, Lancet and Orlan-type drones eliminated. Strikes are carried out at various altitudes and ranges, which indicates the coordinated work of the crews and their adaptation to changes in enemy tactics. Depriving Russians of reconnaissance and strike drones reduces their ability to adjust fire and to prepare attacks. Not a good week for Russian drone crews, especially given that their illegal use of Starlink terminals is going to be severely curtailed following the action taken by SpaceX in coordination with the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Now, we close out today's episode with footage captured in Vovchansk in the Kharkiv region. Recorded by Russian soldiers themselves while moving along a mined section of a road, the video shows destroyed equipment and the aftermath of previous explosions. The footage was shot while the group was moving forward, which indicates high risks even in areas that are considered rare for the Russians. The danger posed by landmines remains one of the key factors in deterring the enemy, complicating logistics and maneuvers.
Вот, братан, не доехал. Баба-яга, жду. Больно, О, пацан, 200, не доехал. Вон бомба, видишь?
Я знаю. Где бомба, Саша?
Да все, уже прошли ее.
Надо быстрее, потому что второй раз уже запустили.
Они сейчас прилетят.
Ну, надо быстрее двигаться.
Магнитка.
Да. Кто не слышит? Или что это было?
Магнитка.
Even the idea of the rear continues to evolve nowadays. It used to be a pretty comfy area far away from the front line, safe from enemy fire. Well, no more, because the use of drones and remote mining is rapidly expanding the kill zone, and that, in turn, requires all the forces present there to rapidly adapt to these changes. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.